Hello, hello, hello there, all you beautiful souls out there. And I hope you're very, very well. And can I say, today's episode is going to blow your mind, and it's going to show the power of the human spirit and how strong it actually is. And because let's face it, the human spirit, the human soul, if you want, is so powerful that we'll never know how strong it is. But I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you about a woman who had so much belief, so much spiritual strength that kept her going. And I mean, kept her going. It's going to blow your mind when I tell you of this journey that I'm proud to have been a part of. And I'm humbled to be a part of as well, because it's such a beautiful journey. It really is. So I want to go back a few years. And one day, a couple of days before Christmas, about 8 years ago, I received a text. It was the day before Christmas Eve. I received a text of someone asking if they could make an appointment for a reading. I'm a medium, in case you didn't know. So I said, yes, not a problem. And this was about 8:30 in the morning. And over the course of the day, they'd sent this text, hopefully it won't be too long. And, and I asked them, I says, I thought something's up here, something's up. So I sent a text back and said, what time do you think that you'll arrive? And then the text came back to say exactly where she was. She said, I'm still on the coach, I'm travelling, I'm on my way. And I was thinking, anyway, she did. She turned up. I gave her the address. And then she turned up, and she came in, and she had such a lovely presence about her. Her name was Prerrna. It still is Prerrna. And she had travelled up from London. Now, she travelled up from London for a reading, but she was also a Reiki master as well, like myself. So I think it was on a Friday night, if I remember rightly. It was a Friday night, and she was going to get the coach back down to London. Well, the Friday night in Newcastle city centre at the time was hectic, and I thought, can't really expect her, to find our way back in Newcastle and, wait in a bus station on a Friday night. It was getting late. So my partner Davy took her into the town. But I gave her a reading. And in the reading, I had said about her going home. I said, reconnecting with her mom and her family and going home. And I felt as though the relationship that she was in then had come to an end. There just wasn't a relationship there. It was a bit of a toxic relationship. Our work had came to an end. I felt as though it was just an end to a life as she knew it. So she had a reading, she thanked us. We then, we shared some Reiki healing. And away she went. Davy, my partner, dropped her off in the town centre at the bus station. He sat with her until the coach came. So she then sent us a text a couple of days later, maybe it's about a week later, I think it was, to say thanks very much for the reading. She'd went back to London, and she had ended her relationship, ended her job, and she'd booked a flight home. Now, I didn't know where home was, but home actually turned out to be in Mauritius. That's where she was from. So she went on the flight. She gave up her flat, everything she gave up. And she went back to Mauritius, and I spoke to her over the new year. I spoke to her, and I spoke to her family, lovely family, lovely family. And then we stayed in touch. We stayed in touch because in the reading I actually told her that the relationship that she wanted, a dream relationship, was about to happen. But to keep her mind positive. So she went back to Mauritius, and then she rang us. She called on the phone one day, and she had said, Elaine, she says, do you really think this relationship's here? And I said, yes, I do. I says, you've got to stay positive. So unbeknownst to me, she was actually sat outside of a church. So she spoke to me on the phone. She went into the church, she lit a candle, she put her prayers there, and she came out and she was sat on a bench outside the church, and there was a gentleman, a young kid sat next to her, and the star. And what happened was, it was rather amazing. That's what I'm going to say. It was amazing. So she enjoyed a chat, a conversation with this gentleman, and she went home. And when she went home, her mom told her that she'd invited a friend and her son for lunch or for afternoon tea. And Prerrna thought, oh, she's trying to match us up. And, anyway, lo and behold, Mom's friend walked in, and who was her son? But the gentleman who'd started talking to her outside of the church. Now, how amazing is that? I don't believe in coincidences because things happen for a reason. And what happened? This was in the March. And what happened? They got married. I can't remember whether it was the November or whether it was the following November, but they got married. They really, she was so pleased to see him, and he was so pleased to see her, because it was when they'd been chatting outside the church, just felt as though it was just so comfortable. So there was an instant connection there. So a husband to be, he worked in the Seychelles. So he would go off to work and then come back, spend time with her, go back to work, and then come back. And in the meantime, she would be planning the wedding, looking for work, all the things that you do, spend time with the family, all of that, which is what we all do. And it's all enjoyable to do things like that. So as time went on, she set the date, and she did invite me and my partner to, actually it's longer, because when she got married, I think it was 2015, and we just couldn't fit it in. I think it was November 2015. We just couldn't fit it in because we were off to Canada in the September for about a month. We were working in Canada. We had some demonstrations and some things to do in Canada, and we just couldn't fit it in. And we're also seeing some of Davey's family in Canada as well, and we just couldn't fit it in. So we missed out on going to a wedding, and that was 2015. It's 2025 now, and over the years, I've stayed in touch with her. If she needs a reading or anything like that, she'll get in touch. Same as our mom and aunt, our sister, and we've stayed in touch. And over the years, she's had readings, and she really wanted children. She really wanted children. And again, I felt that children, babies were there for her. That was just a little bit about things that I said to her. And today, funny enough, I was just thinking about her a couple of days ago. I wonder what's going on with Prerrna. So today, I got a lovely message off her. I had a missed call, and I had a lovely message off her inviting me and Davy to her sister's wedding. And then she sent us a photo of her little son. And it was so heartwarming to know that a dream life had came to fruition. And she's such a wonderful soul. She's such a blessed soul. She's got a beautiful heart. But it just goes to show she never gave up. She never stopped having hope. She held on to what she wanted. She held on to her dreams and her goals. So it does just go to show you the power of the human spirit is absolutely amazing if we allow it to do its job. But sometimes we forget and we ignore it, and we let self-doubt in, we let all that type of thing in, and it just covers, and it starts to pile up and it covers everything up. Now, when we hold on to hope, when we follow our spirit, you'll find that it works out. You know, with Prerrna, her husband still works in the Seychelles. She's still in Mauritius. And the funny thing is, she lived in the UK for a number of years before she moved back. And her sister lived in Mauritius. And the funny thing is, when her sister gets married, she's moving to the UK, and Prerna staying in Mauritius. But it just goes to show she'd held on to that hope. Even at times when she rang me outside the church and she said, "Elaine, it's really, really hard. It's really hard to hold on to this." And I think even at one point, I think she even said to us, "Are you sure that you're not just telling us something to make us feel good?" I wasn't. I wouldn't do that. But she held on to it. Because if we follow our spirit, honestly, it can just open up many doors. It opens up opportunities. It opens up all sorts if we listen to our spirit. Years ago, I was employed and I just had the feeling that there was more for me. Had the feeling that there was something more that I could be doing. I felt as though I could take the roof off my income. I felt as though I could have a better life. I felt as though I could travel. I felt as though I could, do many things that I would never have normally done. So I terminated my employment. It was a bit scary because I had to Google how to write a resignation letter. I had never wrote one before. So I put my resignation in and I trusted. And at the time, I remember thinking to myself, my guides are telling me to work for myself. My guides are telling me to do this. My guides are telling me to do that. Because I didn't understand that really it was my spirit that was speaking. So I was taking it slowly and slowly and slowly. And it took us about 6 months to decide, yes, I'm going to work for myself. So I did begin to work for myself. I followed my spirit, and it's the best thing that I've ever done. Have I travelled? Yes, I've travelled. Have I met some amazing people? Yes, I have. All the people I meet are amazing. Have I stood on platforms with a lot of people? Yes, I have. Would I have ever done that? No. Was I meant to do that? I feel yes. Because ultimately, yes, I'm a medium. But I'm also a healer because I can heal people through the power of words, the messages that come through. And messages come through in the funniest of ways, the funniest of ways. And I really mean the funniest of ways. There's some things that I hear that I think, no, that cannot be right. And there's some things that I see that I think, no, that cannot be right. But I trust my spirit that it is telling me the right things. I trust my spirit that I'm aware of the truth. I trust my spirit that it knows how to guide me. I trust my spirit implicitly. Now, one of the things that I remember years ago, I remember thinking, I remember hearing in my head that I had things going on in my life, and I remember hearing in my head, the truth will out. And I didn't know what that meant. I really didn't. And I thought, and I would hear it, and I would kind of shake my head and go, what's that mean? What's that mean? You know, what's that voice? I'm listening to it. I'm talking to myself again. You know, and I would chase it out. But eventually, the truth did will out to do with the situation. So the power of the human spirit is absolutely amazing. If we hold on to belief, and I'm not talking religion here when I talk belief, I'm not talking religion. You know, it's great to have a religion, it's great to have a faith. You know, I believe in all faiths. But it's great when we've got that positive mindset and we hold on to the hope, we hold on to the drive that we have inside. We hold on to the goals. Never be frightened to dream. You know, never be frightened to make those dreams and those goals big, because you know you never really know what's going to happen. It could be that you make a massive big goal and you think, oh, that'll never happen. No, it won't happen. If you're putting your goal out there and then your mind's saying no, it's not going to happen, because then it's going to be a confusion. So you've got to be aligned with yourself. You've got to believe that that's going to happen, and it will happen. You know, how many times have we kind of said, I want this to happen, I want that to happen, I want the other. And then we say, never going to happen. Never going to happen. Well, why is it? And then when it doesn't happen, we say, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it. I should have listened to me gut. Well, what's actually happened is, you know, you've kind of brought that on yourself. Not really that you've brought it on yourself, but it's really that, you know, you've put it there because you are what you put out. So if you want things to happen, you've got to align yourself. You know, there's many things, there's many times that you know, that I've thought to myself, that's not going to happen. Never going to happen. But then it hasn't happened. And then I've kicked myself and I was like, oh, that's my thoughts that I've put out there. It's my thoughts that I've put out there, and I've aligned to them and I've believed them, and it's kind of, so yes, I'm right. It hasn't happened. But then I've turned my mindset around and I've thought, actually, it just might happen. I don't know. I really don't know. So I've aligned with those thoughts. I've aligned my thoughts and I've thought, it will happen. It will happen. And then what's happened is things have actually happened where I've wanted them to happen. You know, and we can all, you know, we've all had those thoughts, and sometimes we don't realize, you know, that we're all kind of aligning with what we don't want. We're human. It happens. You know, but if we can align with our thoughts, you'll find that anything can happen. Anything. Good and bad. And, you know, the thing is, because we're human, what we can be doing is we can be believing our own hype. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we can be believing the thoughts, good and bad, what's inside. Because our brain is our biggest and closest best friend, but it can also be our enemy as well. You know, we can be believing those self-thoughts, self-doubt, lack of confidence. We can be feeding all of that because we don't believe that we can. So if we can turn our beliefs around, anything can happen, good and bad. But we don't want the bad. So try to keep your mind up there. Try to keep the positive mind up there. Because like Prerrna, that's exactly what she did. And then it's a case of, you know, she kept that thought there. She kept that faith. She kept that hope there. And she got the dream life that she'd always wanted. A marriage to a man who loved her and treated her like a queen. And a son. She'd always wanted children. And she got them. She got them because she wanted them. She got them because they were in her life path. She got them because they were meant for her. She was aligned to that. She was aligned. When we become aligned, things start to move. Things start to move. So whatever you do, always remember, be aligned with your thoughts. And as we get thoughts, you know, sometimes we can be receiving messages from the angels, messages from our loved ones. And when we receive those messages, it can come in many different ways. Numbers, 111, 222, 333. When you see all the ones, 111, that's a message to say, be aligned with your thoughts. But it's also a message to say, be aligned with your thoughts, but keep them positive, because that's what's going to happen. So when you start seeing the signs of 111, move your mind up to a positive place. Lift your spirit. When you say 888, and 8 is a sign of abundance, prosperity. So if you're thinking to yourself, I really need to make money, you might start and see the 888. And what happens then? Then you start to tell yourself, I can make money. I do have money. And you'll find that you could even be walking along the street one day and find a £20 note stuck to your shoe. You know, here's a funny thing for you. Years ago, my husband, every time we went out, he would find £20 notes, £10 notes, £5 notes. Didn't matter where he was stood, you could guarantee that he would look down and bend down and he'd say, look what I've just found. It used to happen all of the time. Now, and, you know, there's a saying in Newcastle, you fall in the Tyne, you still come up smelling the roses. The Tyne is a river. It doesn't smell very nice. And that used to happen to him all the time. I remember one time we were on a bus and there was only me and him sitting at the back of the bus. No one else on the bus. And we're talking. And I was joking. I'd even said to him, have a look. Is there any money around you? You know, and I was like laughing. We're going shopping. And I'd said, have a look to see if there's any money. I says, you can treat us. You know, we're laughing. And then when we got up to go to get off the bus, I kid you not, there was a £20 note and a £5 note in the aisle of the bus. And he started laughing. He says, "Oh, there's the money." And I went, "Dear me." Well, I might not have said dear me, but I said, "Never fails." I says, "You just attract the money." I says, "What is it? How do you do it?" And I'd laugh about it. Was that a sign from his loved ones? Was that a sign from the angels? Or was that his luck? What he was putting out into the universe was coming back to him. Because whatever we put in the universe, we never know how it's going to come back. And Peter was a helpful person. He was a good friend. He was a loyal friend. So he'd be that, that good energy. And he'd be putting that energy out into the universe. He also had his bad points, mind the same as all of us, because we're all human. But he'd be putting that out and he'd be attracting money. It would come back in money. But the main thing is the strength of the spirit is just absolutely amazing. As I say, Prerrna kept a hold of that hope, that faith. There was times that she did feel like giving in, coming back to the UK, settling for what she'd been used to. And I had to encourage her and support her quite a number of times to say, "No, it's almost there. You can give in, but I wouldn't." So she didn't. And she got the life that she deserved. And as I say, I've just been invited to my sister's wedding in April. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been quickly looking at flights and things like this. So if I can get there, I will. So if you have any questions about the strength of spirit, how to change your mindset, anything, feel free to pop them in the comments and I will reply to you. It's all about the strength of our spirit. Our spirit can get us through anything if we want to. It all depends if we want to. And can I just say, next week's episode, you're really not going to want to miss it next week because, dear me, I don't even want to mention it, but it is quite hilarious next week's episode. It is quite hilarious. I'm going to be talking about all the different things that I see with me clairvoyance. And dear me, I see some funny things. And I mean some funny things. Things that, a lot of people, when you think about mediums, a lot of people think that mediums are kind of holier than thou. And they don't do this and they don't see that, and because they connect to the spirit. And no, far from it. Far from it. As a medium, we see all sorts. We really do. You'd be surprised. So that's the episode for next week. So I'm going to say thank you very much for tuning in. And I hope you've learned something from it. I don't know. You might just think that I'm just waffling on. But I look forward to seeing you again soon.